the tunnel. James was enjoying a rest. Then Sir Topham Hatt came to see James. "You ought to take a freight train to the yard," he said. James was cross. He wanted to get his coal job over with. He grumbled all the way. One moment, James was on the rails. The next, he came off the rails and into some water. Oh, what will Sir Topham Hatt say when he sees what's happened here? He asked himself. He found out soon enough. "James, you should learn to be more careful. You have caused confusion and delay," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Sorry, sir," James said. "After you have been mended, you will stay in your shed for the rest of the day." After the freight car that stayed on the rails was gone, James was put back on the rails. He was shunted to the works by Percy. James remained in his shed for the rest of the day, a sadder but wiser engine. Let's hope he starts thinking about what he did. Don't you? Fabian's new coaches. Percy was taking his coaches back to the yard. A new engine had arrived and he wanted to say hello. The engine looked smart with his yellow paint. "Percy, meet Fabian," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Hello, Fabian." "Hello, Percy." "Fabian, collect your coaches. You and your driver must learn the line." "Yes, sir," he said. Percy was amazed. Later, the only coaches Fabian's driver could find belonged to Percy. These aren't your sort, he said, but I suppose they're okay. The coaches felt sad. How dare he say we're okay? Fabian puffed carefully down the line. Then, Percy saw Fabian pulling his favorite coaches. "Hello, Percy," he called, but Percy was cross. "Those are my favorite coaches. Give them back!" But Fabian didn't hear Percy and went on his way. Fabian then passed James. Then he passed Henry. When Fabian whistled hello, the engines didn't whistle back. Fabian couldn't understand why they were so unfriendly. He was upset. Later, Sir Topham Hatt came to see Percy. "I want you to go to the docks to pick up new coaches." "New coaches? But sir..." "Really useful engines don't argue." Percy didn't want new coaches. He wanted his favorite ones back. When Duck saw Fabian return to the yards, he was surprised. "Those are Percy's favorite coaches." "So that's why he looked cross," explained Fabian. "I'll go and apologize." "Don't want new coaches, don't want new coaches," chuffed Percy. Fabian was still looking for Percy when a signalman flagged him down. "Duck hasn't cleared his signal box," he told Fabian's driver. "Please go and see what's wrong." Fabian could see that Duck had broken down on the crossing. Then Fabian heard a whistle. Uh-oh. Percy could see Duck. He knew he could never stop in time. "Help!" Fabian charged towards Duck. And with a huge effort, he pushed him off the tracks, just in time. "Thanks." "You're welcome." Later, Sir Topham Hatt praised Fabian. "Well done. You were a very brave engine." "The bravest," chuffed Duck. "It gives me great pleasure to present you with 2 new coaches." "Thank you, sir," replied Fabian. "Percy, I'm sorry I took your favorite coaches." "And I'm sorry I was so cross," replied Percy. "Friends? Friends!" Fabian loves his coaches, and being part of Sir Topham Hatt's railway. Billy's best friend. Billy feels proud of working on the Little Western. He feels happy there. He likes talking about the time that Donald had saved him from scrap. If it wasn't for his help, Billy would say, I would have not been here on Sir Topham Hatt's railway. Everyone else wanted to know about Billy's adventure. Amazing, remarked Duck. You and me will work together tomorrow, said Oliver. The next day, Billy was coupled up to the front of the train, with Oliver at the back. Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived. You two are going to be very busy. First, you both will take empty cars to the yard. Then, next, you will take a flatbed of pipes to the station. Edward will take them from there. Lastly, you will deliver fruit to the docks. Then he left. Billy wasn't paying any attention. Suddenly, he stopped. He had decided to tell the truth. That's okay, said Oliver. Now, let's get back to work. Billy and Oliver delivered the empty cars to the yard. Then, they delivered the pipes to the station and left them for Edward. Then, they took the fruit to the docks. Then, they rested. Oliver, said Billy, you're such a nice engine. Also, I really enjoyed working with you. Oliver was happy. Then, the two best friends puffed to their sheds. The steamroller and the new engine. Leisha, the new engine, was resting on a siding. It's good to have a rest sometimes, she said. Next to her was George the steamroller. You engines should be in a museum, not operating on a railway, he said. Leisha took no notice and puffed away. Railways are no good. Turn them into roads, said George. When Leisha saw Duck, he was very cross. Why are you so cross? She asked. It's George. He called me a flat green pancake earlier today. Before the guard blew his whistle for me to take my passengers to the next station. Next time you see him, ignore him, please, said Leisha. That made Duck really happy. At last, the workmen reached the level crossing. What will we do here? One asked. Tear it out. Tarmac it, ordered George. Duck was coming down the line with a train of fruit to market. He didn't know that part of the track at the level crossing had been turned into a road. He tried to stop, but it was too late. He came off the rails and into a duck pond. Oh, botheration, he said crossly. George was rolling down the road, but he was heading to trouble. control and landed into a ditch. So Topham Hatt was then crossed with George. "You're a very naughty steamroller," he scolded. "You have been very rude to the new engine and caused Duck to have an accident." "I'm sorry, sir," he said. "For your punishment, you will stay in your shed for 5 days. "I smell all over you." "Ditch water, ha ha ha," laughed James. George said nothing as he was being taken to the works.
It's all a new experience, like Jeremy the Jet. Watch him as he's flying by, one scene you won't forget. There's always somewhere new to know and something new to see. Things you never knew before or somewhere new to be. Though you'll remember dear old friends, some red, some green, some blue. For everything familiar, there's always something new. You could see Neville on the track, or Rocky, he's a crane. Here's Rosie, you don't see so much, so don't forget her name.